Avatar Aang, Legend of Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender came out, and boy, howdy, should it have been released in theaters. The movie itself is pretty good. It kind of reminded me of a season of Legend of Korra, but if it was like condensed to 90 minutes. You have this really interesting antagonist with compelling motivations, but then by the third act, he's kind of just like, time to do genocide, baby! But the main standout here is the animation, which, as you can see from your phone screen, looks absolutely gorgeous and deserves to be seen on the biggest screen possible. Except that they didn't release this movie in theaters. It was supposed to come out in theaters, but Paramount hates their animation department, I guess. And so instead it got dumped on Paramount Plus. Yay. Seriously, this is some of the best looking animation and fight choreography in the entire franchise. And that's saying something, because this series is known for gorgeous animation and cool ass fights. The whole animation team put everything they had into making this look like the coolest shit you've ever seen. Which would have gone so hard in the theater if they actually released the damn thing how it was meant to be fucking shown. It sucks so hard too, because I feel like this time in this summer specifically would have been an excellent time to release this thing. You have other big releases like Minions 7 and Moana live action, but none of those have really like done bangers at the box office in the way that the studios behind them kind of hoped they would. Moana was pretty much dead on arrival, but Avatar is one that absolutely deserves success, and I think would have been a big hit if it came out in theaters like it was supposed to. Given the nostalgia factor for my generation who grew up with the original show, and this is a continuation of that show with those same characters, but it also kind of works as a self-contained story. I think you could very easily show this movie to someone who's never seen any Avatar before, and they could follow what's happening perfectly. And I think it would even entice them to watch more. And while a lot of Western studios have moved away from 2D animation, and I'm sure the executives at Paramount have looked at some graphs that say that 2D animation doesn't perform super well, but I don't actually think that's the correct way to interpret that. I think that if general audiences were allowed to see this movie, they would realize what they are missing, because there's nothing else really like it that's coming out. At least not very often in terms of like Western cinema. But you know what does do well at the box office? Anime movies. Demon Slayer had a movie that came out last year that made almost $800 million, and the one that they did before that made over $500 million. There's a huge audience for anime, and while it's often debated whether or not Avatar technically counts as anime or not, it absolutely has a huge crossover with that audience. It's probably the most accessible anime-styled movie that you could show to a Western audience. I really think this movie could have been a huge fucking hit if they actually released it in theaters, but I guess we'll never fucking know.